Cars, cars, cars. SUVs and pickups. They're everywhere in our country. Hi, I'm Allison, and here's a fuel factoid. Did you know that drivers in the US use more than 350 million gallons of gasoline per day? That's right, 350 million gallons. That's a huge amount, but I have some good news. A lot of that gasoline contains 10% or more of ethanol. Ethanol is a clean, renewable fuel made from corn and plants across the US, including 20 in Minnesota. At Minnesota State University in Mankato, there's a special lab that runs hundreds of fuel tests every month. The Department of Automotive Engineering evaluates different types of gasoline, including those blended with ethanol. Bruce Jones will tell us more.
For several years now, we've been looking at the effects of different blends of ethanol and gasoline to add information to the knowledge pool about how these fuels operate in vehicles and engines, both long-term and short-term. We have really three different constituencies. One would be the buying public to gather information and try to find out how all types of renewable fuels and alternative fuels operate in vehicles and engines. Number two, private industry, to make sure that, that we're able to answer questions that will help them design and build their products. And the third one is to government and regulators, to give them information about how these fuels are going to act in different engines and vehicles, to make sure that they can set appropriate policies that are not going to harm business interests and things like that. Another important reason that we do it is really from the standpoint of its excellent learning opportunities for our students.
Students, just like you and I, are testing different types of gasoline. How cool is that? They measure engine performance on things like cars, ATVs, and yard tools like chainsaws and power trimmers. A testing program like this is important to make sure our fuel products perform well and are safe. It's a valuable service for anyone who uses gasoline. Here's an example of a test they're working on.
This is a test where we're looking at 12 different Briggs & Stratton flathead older technology engines. Okay? We want to find out how these engines operate and throughout their useful life function on blends of gasoline, 10% ethanol, 15% ethanol, and 20% ethanol. So what we have to do is we have to be very careful that we build a test that will limit all of the variables, so the only difference is the fuel that is going into the engine. We are seen as very objective. We strive very hard to enter any research study in a non-biased approach. Every one of the research projects that we've done includes students. And so it's an excellent learning opportunity for students to go in and to learn about, with regards to fuels, how these advanced fuels operate in engines, because they will eventually be leaving Mankato and going and getting careers in companies that may manufacture engines or vehicles or other types of systems. Our focus is on applied research, and that research that can very easily be taken by the consumer, companies, and government agencies to be able to make decisions. It's very, very close to them. So that is an important part of what we're doing. The testing that we've been doing here has been used by government agencies to develop policy. The recent E15 waiver for 15% ethanol had a number of our studies cited in them and was used by the federal government and the Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Energy in their decision on ethanol blends and ethanol content. Projects like this, and every project that we do, really is based on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or all of the STEM disciplines. In the program that I teach in, it couples all of those together, and it's so very, very important. Even though we're working with our hands and doing physical testing, there's mathematics that are involved in calculating the blend ratios. Technology is actually the engines that are converting that fuel, whatever fuel it is, into heat energy. The science is the standpoint looking at chemically what's happening and why are we seeing these differences. So you can't get much closer to STEM type of careers and things like that than what the students are working on here.